Okay, guys, it's the closet occultist coming out of the closet just for you to tell you about how meditation fucked up my fucking life. How meditation ruined my life. Well, I was an athlete, and the only things I cared about were sports and having sex with girls. That's basically everything I cared about. I'd read 3 books up until I was 22. They were 3 books I actually remember: The Enormous Crocodile, and Catcher in the Rye, and Prince of Tides. Now, when I became interested in meditation, this quantity of books increased rapidly. For 1 year, I read about 1 book per month, which is astounding. It came from the meditation, obviously, because things were happening that were outside of the scope of reality. Things were happening that had no right to happen. I'll make another video about the results because I've documented every single step I took during that period where I was meditating for hours and hours a day. So that's the results of meditation I will give to you in another video. In this video, I will tell you the difference between me before and after, and things to look out for from meditation. First thing, emotions. Emotions get extremely suppressed if you do too much meditation. You get numb. And I'm not talking to people who are sitting in circles, holding hands and chanting. I'm talking about doing it by yourself and doing it for many, many, many hours per day. I was working in a company at the time, and it got so bad at work that I started to have to skip days between meditation sessions because I would go to work and I would have completely been zoned out of everything I was doing at work because I'm into my meditation hole and just meditating like crazy, forgetting everything else, destroying the mind, and then activating certain neural circuits, higher level circuits, which allow the Kundalini energy to flow through you. Achieving these results at the expense of my work, at the expense of my relationships, at the expense of my job. That's how committed I was to doing it. Now, it's going to inhibit your emotions. What does that mean? It means emotional intelligence, EQ, is going to drop. It means when you do it too much, like there's a difference between mindfulness meditation and becoming more aware and the kind of concentration meditation that I was doing. The concentration meditation I was doing was really fucking up my emotions pretty bad. Also fucking up my sex life, because part of the whole meditation oath, if you're taking it very seriously, and I'm only talking about if you're taking it very seriously, I'm not talking about if you're doing half an hour a day, 5 days a week. I'm talking you are full on hours a day at the expense of everything else. The cave mode, going to a cave and being there. The problem becomes that your thoughts become your own enemies. So you have to eliminate them. You have to be observant of the emotions that come out of you and let them pass. Now, I'm doing much better than I was doing years before, but back then it was pretty bad. Like, I became like a blank piece of paper, white. People would talk to me in the office and I would just be like, blank. I lost my ability to emote. I lost my ability to have critical thinking. So emotions and critical thinking can get hurt quite significantly. So if you're in a STEM field and you're working in a STEM job, then it's gonna be very tough for you to balance out your need for rational thinking with your need to destroy the rational mind. Now, why is it that one needs to destroy emotions and the rational mind? It's because the very heavy meditator realizes that the roots from which these come out, in certain situations, like in my case, the roots of my emotions were completely flawed. There was a mistake in everything I was thinking about. I had developed a structure, a mind, over many years, 20 years, 25 years, which was built on false premises. So I took it like, okay, I need to get rid of everything. So what I did was I went to self-destruct mode with meditation. I went full on and to destroy everything. And I destroyed everything. And then nothing was left. But the problem was that I wasn't at that good level where you could say, okay, he's enlightened. I was completely smashed out by meditation. Completely. So people who would know me from before would see me like in the office. I had a colleague of mine who knew me from back in the university days, and he would tell me, and he would tell my old friends from uni, and he would tell coworkers, man, this guy is completely different. He's like lost all of his vigor because I was an athlete. I had a lot of vigor. He just said that I was like my personality back in the day. My friend said you were like an athlete. There's no different way to describe it. And now you're like you don't get excited about anything. You look like you're tired all the time. Now, I was fucking lost. That was the problem. I was lost as a motherfucker. And if you happen to go down this route and you're confused about what meditation is and what it isn't, I really think you should consider that the people who write meditation books, usually they write them for the general public. They don't write them for people who are going to go full on cave mode. If you want to go full on cave mode, I would really recommend that you go find a teacher. That's my ultimate recommendation. Don't do it alone. I did it alone and I almost lost my mind. It was scary, like the hallucinations and the visuals that were starting to happen, even away from meditation, like while I was going to sleep. I felt like I was possessed, like I don't even know what kind of powers that I came onto. And that's the problem. The books that are you can buy on Amazon, they're very, how can I put this, geared towards a certain kind of audience, general public. But the more arcane and the secretive uh, modes of self-exploration using meditation, these things are usually passed down by oral tradition. They're not passed down by books. So if you want to know them, if you want to know the secrets, then you go to a guru, whatever path you want to choose, a teacher, and the teacher will slowly see how worthy you are and will slowly reveal the secrets to you under oath. You have to put an oath of secrecy. He will tell you or she will tell you the information, but you cannot tell anybody. But for me, I never had a guru, so I can tell whatever the fuck I want. Well, I'll give you an example. Once, a friend of mine wanted to become involved in this, and I gave him some steps to follow, and after 2 weeks, he just couldn't do it. Like, he couldn't keep up with all the pressure. So it's tough. It's very tough, and it builds character. So I know I'm hating on it very much because it wipes out your rational thinking and makes you quite emotionless. It makes you tough, and that's a good thing. But if you're tough and you can no longer feel love and you can no longer feel with people and you can't really think rationally anymore because your mind has been destroyed completely, then it's not the most favorable outcome. See, it's just not the most favorable outcome. A favorable outcome would be you get to the enlightened state, and from the enlightened state, you can affect everybody around you positively and be like a positive influence on everyone, make everybody feel happy with nothing. You don't want anything in return. You just make people feel happy, make people feel good, and you can go from there. That's not the only thing that may happen when you start doing meditation, guys and girls. This is what I'm telling you. You might think there is some sort of enlightenment that you might reach. It's not the case. It could be the case for you. It wasn't the case for me. Like when I got really far down the path, just get more and more mysteries, more and more secrecies. It makes me think about the kind of heaven that the Buddhists would say is enlightenment, and I would think, man, this is not applying to me. Well, something completely different is applying to me. So the books aren't very good guides to go very deep into meditation. They're good if you want to be a dilettante, but if you want to be very, very extreme and do it properly, you better find a teacher. You should. It's very important to have a teacher who's already been there, done that. And that way you will minimize how far you are pushing things, because you might not need to go self-destruct mode. I did because I had nobody else to tell me what to do. After I did the self-destruct mode, I became much more intelligent about how I'm picking and choosing the thoughts that I'm allowing to grow inside my mind. I became very meticulous in my meditation. And slowly, slowly, I rebuilt a persona and was able to reintegrate back into society. And this is many years in the future. And I'm finally getting back into the groove socially. Like it took me a while. It took me a while where I was unable to really make any new friends because of the lack of empathy, the lack of emotional connection that I was making. Now it's a lot better. But back then, it was fucking hell. And I really don't wish that anybody else have to go through it like I did. So if anybody has any questions, I'm very, very willing to help out in any way I can. Have a good day.